What's up, world? It's Ian Romaker, and I'm here with.
Magnolia Salas.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. First question: what drove you to choose your career path?
Oh, um, that's a very tough question. What drove me to? Well, I've always been. Uh, how do you know how to answer that? You're gonna have to edit all this out.
Yeah, that's cool.
um, since I was younger, I thought that I wanted to be my own entrepreneur. I always envisioned myself having my own restaurant. Um, and when I was applying to college, I realized that the idea of owning my own restaurant wasn't really what was fueling my desire to own a restaurant. It was more thinking of the bigger concepts of, how do you run a business? How do you make it happen? How do you start it up? How do you know, bring people to your restaurant? And I decided to apply. I'm an SU grad. I went to the Whitman School of Management as my undergrad, and I applied to their entrepreneurship. I was an entrepreneurship and marketing major. And through those 4 years, being able to see how, entrepreneurship, because it was, small businesses were all over, but that's really where the change comes in, is when somebody can come in and have a big idea or a small idea and make a change. So I really liked how entrepreneurship and innovative ideas were combining with marketing and combining with technology and design and communication to build and social media to build like a new aspect of communication. And when I did my internship my senior year, I worked for a small company here in the local Syracuse area, and I was able to combine all of the different aspects in from my marketing degree, from entrepreneurship, the things that I really like, designing and creating and making things look nice, and being able to use social media to connect with people and build that audience. And that's kind of what's driven me to do the job that I do. I'm the marketing and communications coordinator for the office. I guess we should start with that, like what I do.
Well, that's
And
actually a segue perfectly into my next question.
Okay, yeah, so that's kind of what fueled me to apply for my position. It's that it was a perfect combination of all the things that I was interested in, and also bring in that aspect of giving back and,
Yeah.
being a leader and a mentor to students, because I always had that growing up, and being able to interact with students, because I always also wanted to be a teacher, but I didn't want to grade papers or like
Yeah.
fail people. So this was like a very perfect combination of all the things that I was interested in.
That's good. That's a good answer.
Thank you.
How do you manage communications, marketing, and outreach efforts in order to create awareness for career services?
I manage that by trying to get a better understanding of where students are. I know that I use the things that I like and the things that capture my attention. And, I'm only 25, and students are like 18 to 21, 22.
Yeah.
So I feel that I can use, the things that I'm interested in, the things that capture my attention and my mind, and that, to be able to talk to students, because we're still in the same age range. We have a lot of the same questions, like what is it that drives me, what's my passion, what do I want to do for the next X amount of years, what is it, something, how can I contribute and give back. And I think that's where a lot of our students are currently, and being able to use those, my own personal background, and where the technology space is, to bring that all together. We use a lot of still the traditional media, but also we're very heavy in digital media. So trying to use social media to connect with students, and, shifting to where they are, and always being able to try new things because, if it didn't work, why didn't it work? Look at the analytics, talk to students. We use our ambassadors to try to tap into, like, how can we reach the students. And I think that being able to think like a student really
Yeah.
helps, because you're in a very interesting time. We're all in a very interesting time because our attention spans are shorter. We're all more focused on our technology, but how can we use that to connect and help students see the bigger picture? And also, I remember my own job search, because it wasn't that long ago. So you tapping into that, those ideas of, it's scary, it's intimidating, like I have no idea what I want to do, and there seems like a million thousand jobs out there. How do I even talk to somebody? Like, even if you're outgoing, going up to a total stranger and talking to them and getting them interested in you, like how do you do that? So, tapping into all of that, I think I use to help me communicate out to students, and being aware that they do get bombarded. So how can we bombard them less? How can we build partnerships with other offices and other people to make the programs that we do meaningful and capture their attention in a good way? Is that a good answer? I wasn't sure.
Definitely. So, another one. So as the coordinator for the Career Center's web and social media presence, what sort of emerging technologies do you utilize, and which proves to be the most effective?
What I use and what proves to be most effective. It changes every semester, to be honest. Right now, we're very constrained with the web platform that we have to use. We're on Cascade, and that's a very rigorous, very structured web management system, and thankfully we have an awesome IT person who was able to turn it into something that was a lot more visual and more visually appealing, and that was more dynamic than what our old website was. And I think because of the tools that she's given us, it's been a lot easier to make our website something that when you come, you can get the information that you need right away. It's a lot more responsive mobily and your tablets, which is really huge because I use Google Analytics. I try to look at it once a week if I'm not too busy. Like I try to go out once a week and look at, how are students coming to our site? What browsers are they using? What devices are they using? How can we maximize the impact that we're making there? And we're always looking at our website to try to change so that it's current and it's relevant and it has a strategy behind it. In addition to that, our social channels that we use the most are, Instagram and Twitter, and I use analytics to support it. I use this website platform called Samal, and it's really helpful because I can track all of our analytics, our website, our Orange Link, our Orange Link jobs and internship board, our social media, and look at it on a daily or weekly basis and see, where's our engagement, where are students, even if they're not commenting, favoriting or retweeting or saving it for later, like where platforms are they using that most in, and what kinds of content resonates better with them. And I think being able to post something and then look at it and analyze it goes hand in hand. So I think those are some of the things that I've been working with, and some of the things that work better than others is when we post content that goes back to my previous answers, like when we help students, like one of our best performing pieces of content was like helping students answer the question like, what's my passion? Like that still to this day is being liked and retweeted. Or questions on if you're meeting somebody new, how do you make that connection? How do you work, like how do you talk to people in a networking event? So content that helps kind of soothe their fears, I think do really well. So those are kind of some of the things that I've been trying and doing, and trying to change our visual style and always try new things in that realm and stay updated. You definitely have to stay. And that's hard, but you can only do the best you can.
Alright, little personal question. How did your time in Madrid influence your professional encounters?
How did you know I went to Madrid? That's amazing. You did your research.
Yeah, I have to know this.
My time in Madrid helped me. What was the question about impact me?
Influence your professional encounters.
I think it just made me a little bit more grounded. Before I went abroad, I was very, I'm very studious person. Like grades were the top most important thing. And when I went abroad and I spent that semester away, it kind of was like, you only have one life in a sense, and you have to make the most of it. Yes, grades are important. Yes, your daily work is important, but there's so much more than that. You have to go out there and talk with people and get to know them and hear their stories, and make that personal connection, and I think that's helped me personally and professionally, because since I've started my job here, this is such a big university, there's so many students, and being able to connect with them on that personal level is really helpful, because I can always go back to, you probably went abroad, or you're interested in going abroad, or there's millions of students who've gone abroad, and I can tap into them and be like, oh yes, I've done that. Like, that experience changes you, because you go from being very self-centered. Not that everyone's self-centered, but you think like, oh, it's me, and this is my little neck of the world, and this is what's important, to like this global perspective that there's more than just you, and how to connect with people who grew up differently than you, but at the end of the day, they grew up very similarly to you. So I think that's always really helpful, because now it's easier for me to like talk to somebody and find that common ground, which I can help then help students understand that there's always a way that you can find that common ground with somebody. You just kind of have to like talk it out sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's scary, but going abroad was scary, because went by myself, and you have to put yourself in situations that you're not used to be able to grow and develop. And I think that was something that I took away from Madrid.
Definitely, life is all about risk.
So if you haven't gone abroad, you should.
Definitely. How have you built relationships with students in order to... Actually, I'm going to skip that one. I think we already kind of talked about that. What do hashtags like hashtag go 100% and hashtag climate march mean to you?
Oh, go 100%. I've never seen that one before, but that reminds me of like keeping it 100. I think they mean that, you have to push yourself, you have to go out there and show the world that you're not like everybody else. And especially today, like, I was talking to the student the other day, and you're going into a very tough situation, and we're all in a very tough situation, because jobs aren't guaranteed, and you have to show that you are different and that you can contribute, and that means giving it all 100%. But that also doesn't mean that you have to, work 100% of the time. There's an 80-20 rule to that. We're not just meant to work. You have to have a personal life as well, and have that balance is really important. So go 100%, I think, is applicable, but it's also, you don't want to burn yourself out. We're not machines. There's only so much that you can give, so you have to find time for yourself as well. So go 100% for yourself, whether that's, if you're gonna binge watch all weekend, fine, because you've worked 40 hours that week on whatever it was, but finding that time for yourself. So whatever you're doing, give of yourself, but also, have that reverse side where you give back to yourself, because, the only person that you live with your whole life is yourself. And if you're not doing things that you find that give you life, make you laugh, you find you're passionate, and that you want to wake up every day and be like, yes, this is what I want to be doing, then you're not giving yourself 100%. So you have to go back and like figure it out. What is it that will give you that? And whether it's something that you do to volunteer, because I know you have to work and you have to make it hard, at least find that something that you are in the moment and, happy with yourself. So I think that's what I take from that. And, if you're not happy in your own skin, then, what's the point? So,
Right.
Go out there and do the things that make you happy.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah. Oh, and then Climate March, that's something that speaks very directly to me. I've been following the, COP21 in Paris and seeing what's going on there. We, like, back to the 100%, we have to give our planet 100%. This is the one planet that we have. We have no idea of, like, we can go someplace else. And if we're not taking care of our home, then what right do we have to be here? And if we're not, fighting, if we're not fighting for the things that are important to us, then how do we know what's important to us, kind of, in a sense? And the climate, a lot of people are like, oh, everything's fine, but it's not. Like, obviously people are dying, countries are, islands are going to be over flooded in a few years, and we have to do something about that. And we can't just stick with the status quo, because I want to have kids, and I want my kids to have kids, and I want them to have a place to, call home. And, I didn't contribute, I wasn't alive in the Industrial Revolution, but that doesn't mean that I'm not contributing. So we have to own the situation that we're in. So we have to fight and let the world know that, and our leaders know that, we do know what you're doing. And yeah, we're consumers, but, we want to make a difference. And it starts with every single person. And if, I just don't understand, there's some people who are very clean in their home and then, litter outside. It's like, what are you doing? Like, it takes you 2 seconds to throw something in the garbage. Be responsible and don't be ridiculous. And, take care of planet Earth because it's the one thing we have.
Alright, so, transitioning here.
Yeah.
Can you share any interesting information on how recruiters use social media sites to screen and find potential employees?
Yes. So I can start with LinkedIn. One thing that recruiters do on LinkedIn is they definitely, once they have their pool of people that they're looking at, and it's rounded down, they will look at your app, they will look at your LinkedIn, they will Google search you to see what comes up. And you want to make sure that you are portraying yourself in the best light possible. And that means, if you have to build a LinkedIn, go and build it. And, we are all brands. And if you don't know what a brand is, Nike's a brand, Apple's a brand. Well, how are they maintaining their brand image? That's how you want to maintain your brand image, first of all. Because employers are looking and they rescind offers all the time from students when they find that you're doing something that, because when you become their employee, you don't represent yourself anymore. You're representing them. So they want to make sure that the people that are employees of them that work there are the best representations of that company. So, what are you posting online that, if you're private online, why are you private? What are you sharing online that you don't want anybody to see? Does that mean that maybe you shouldn't be sharing that online? Because once you post something online, it's up there forever. Because there are repercussions. It does ripple. You might think like, oh, I was 18, I posted that, whatever. I'm 22 now, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Well, the internet doesn't forget, and an employer, if they really want to find these things, can find them. Another thing that they do is on LinkedIn is like, they might have a student who's interning them for already, or if we have a lot of employers who love hiring Syracuse University students, so they might have an intern in their office who they'll go check out their profile and they'll see who's endorsed that person. Let's say that Mike works for your office, and you go and you look at your intern Mike and you see that Susie or Letitia, like they've endorsed you, or you've worked on a project, or they worked on a project with Mike. They're going to click on their profiles and take a look at that person's profile because they see that there's a connection between that student and their intern, and they've already vouched for their intern. So if the intern is connected to this person, that means that their intern is vouching for that person. And that's a way that they might go in and find and look for and find more new and talent through the people that they already are within the company. They do look on Facebook. They could use the graph search to find people, and they'll, if you have, things that are not private, they're public that you can see, they'll look at all that, and they do get judgments through that. They also look at your Twitter feed if that's public and see like the kinds of things that you're posting and if that's something that they are okay with or not. And, every industry is different, so it's really important for you to know your industry, but it is also important to know, like if there's somebody in your life who would be like, why are you posting that? Or like feel like, you've hurt them because you posted something, think about them before you post something.
Definitely. So, I was on your Twitter.
Yeah.
So I have a question. It's just basically, you got a fortune cookie and it said, you will not get what you deserve, you will get what you negotiate. Do you care to elaborate on this?
Oh yeah, that I was actually on my way to a conference and I saw that fortune cookie, and it just struck me because I was having a conversation with my sister the day before just about she is trying to figure out her path, and it just I don't think that we don't get things that we deserve. If you don't go out there and make things happen that you want to happen, they're never gonna happen. Like I could be sitting here thinking, oh, I really want to work for GE. I really want to work for GE, or I really want to be so-and-so person. I could just be sitting here and thinking it's never going to happen. No one's just going to come up to me and be like, oh, I read your mind and you want to work for GE, so here's a job. No, if I want to work for GE, I have to get up, go out and talk to people, talk with alumni who work at GE, talk to interns who are at GE, find out how did they make it to GE, what are some of the things they like about it, what don't they like about it, how can they recommend more people that I can talk to, can they, what skills can I work on to be able to land that job, whatever it is. So if you're not working, striving towards the goals that you want, they're not going to happen. So that's what I took away from the word negotiate, because, you always have to negotiate. You always have to be thinking to yourself, well, I want this, so I have to give up this. You know, I love binge watching. I could be on Netflix all day, but that's not going to lead me anywhere, like, productive in the next step in my career. So I'm negotiating my time. You know, I might watch an hour of Netflix and then go and get back to my job search or, you know, grad school or, you know, whatever it is that I'm working on now to get me to where I want to be tomorrow. So you kind of always have to think of it that way as well. You know, you're negotiating your time, you're negotiating your values, you're negotiating your passions to try to really, like, tap into what is it that you want out of life, figure that out and go for it.
Terrific.
Yeah.
That's a great ending.